in this case, and the audience is who you are solving the problem for or creating the product for, which really anyone that I'm trying to think. I'm going to go back really quick. Sorry. So for this one, I think you were hired. So they are working as a team, hired to really create the bird feeder. So you are solving the problem for that person that hired you. And then S stands for the scenario, which is already showcased in the situation or in the introduction. And then the product they're creating is a bird feeder. And then the end result is the bird feeder that can really accommodate. So the bird feeder that will be successful in accommodating like the bird that they're trying to create that bird feeder for. I hope that makes sense. And then standards and criteria, we have a rubric at the very end. So this just introduces kids to the GRASPS model. And so create or carve time for that as you are planning for your end of the year PBL with this in mind. So after the sketches are completed, teams will present their ideas to each other for feedback. You can also set this up where you might just have two teams present to each other yet, just to see like what adjustments they can make in the process before the final showcase. So they can share their idea verbally or through writing. For several of our teachers, they really have what do you call this? They have like a Google slide going, then that way kids can just work um, collaboratively online as well as in person. And then they have to these are questions or these are guiding questions in thinking about the design. So a lot of the preparation or leading up to designing the bird feeder is really the analysis piece. So helping students think through what design or how they are going to go about their design. So having each team explain and then reminding students to listen actively. And if you already know this, listening actively is also part of the science teaks. So we also have to really include that in any teamwork or collaborative activities that we are doing with the kids. So it ends with a rubric, but then in thinking or in hindsight, it might be better to actually present the rubric first. Then that way kids know what they are up against. So that is how the different slides are set up. Let me go back to this one right here. So this is just focusing on building a bird feeder. And then the fourth grade one focuses on time travelers, really rotation. That is the focus alongside dimension one, which are the SEPs. And then grade 5 focuses on conservation of energy. So that is it for me in terms of, or as it refers to like STEM connections. Thoughts, questions? Good so
So
far?
Dylan, all
Yep.
that
I
material
had
that you
a
just talked, all that material you just presented, like is clickable through the presentation that we shared. So if teachers wanted to use it, they can just click and play.
Yes. Yes. Uh-huh. So on the Canva that we shared in the chat, when they click on the link or on the links for the bird feeder, the time travelers, classroom energy audit, it's open. So you should be able to access all of the files along with the materials. If you have any questions, just drop it in the chat and then I will be answering them as we go. Okay? So who's next? Yep, we will be resending the link in a little bit. Okay, so let me share the screen
I was gonna
again.
say, Jolene, do you want me to begin sharing?
Yes, go ahead, Kelly.
So that you can do what you need to do. I've just got to find the right window. Y'all, it's been a minute,
I
right?
know
Since
it's
we've
okay.
done all of that. I'm like, I had it open 12 seconds ago, but it
Mhm.
has disappeared on me.
I know. We should
Okay,
do our
I'm just
collaboration like first thing in the morning. That way, like it's
so I
really
have some brain. I've
fresh.
never mind, Jolene. You share the next one, and then I will. It actually
Okay.
might be mine that you might walk through, and then I will figure it out.
Okay.
I'll
So
figure
let
myself
me,
out here in a minute, friends.
no problem. Okay.
I've
So
been in
here we
an
go.
80-degree closet, a science closet all day working through supplies. It's fine. Oh yeah, it is mine. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Yeah, fantastic. So, got two options here for you. The first one, lots of scientists study options. We did this one for our second grade team. I know we may have some younger grade level teachers here, or you may have second graders that did not do, if you're in fifth grade, did not get an opportunity to do the scientist study. So it's a 5-day lesson plan. So if you wanted to run this one for a week, you absolutely could. Jolene, would you click on the underlined scientist study?
Yep.
Thank you, ma'am. It is written in the 5E model.
Go? My volume's not
Um,
working here.
It is in the 5E model. Everything is almost everything is available in English and in Spanish, already translated for you. So if you have multiple languages, spoken or a dual language program, that should be ready to go. It's got the standards. It's got all 3 dimensions of the standards. If you'll scroll down some, keep going. There you go. And it begins with a real quick voice recording that's over 140 years old and just kind of an engaged piece. Then it moves into having students examine some artifacts from Alexander Graham Bell and his connection to Helen Keller. And the letter is the thing that we've translated into Spanish. Pause right there for just a second. We've translated the letter to Helen Keller into Spanish. However, I would definitely recommend showing the original to students because it has historical properties or historical pieces that I would want students to see. And then for reading and analyzing, you could obviously provide the Spanish translated copy. So that is available in there. And then there's some links. The video plays in both English and in Spanish, with a journal response entry for students and then a discussion piece. And then for keep going, the elaboration and evaluation, you've got kiddos either designing, they can sketch and draw and model, which is part of that 3 dimensions of science. That's in our science and engineering practices. Sketch a model of what what a phone might look like in 10 years or in 20 years. Or you could have them actually build or design it. What are some of those features? This should also contain a writing piece. We get kiddos putting their thoughts out on paper because, as one of my favorite science people says, that your model or your drawing or your writing is the best idea that you have in your brain outside of your brain so other people can see it and learn from it, and you can discuss it. So that's a quick 5-day lesson over Alexander Graham Bell. It could be used as is for any grade level, 2nd through 5th. But I did want to provide you something that I don't know that our kiddos in 5th grade necessarily would have studied because these standards were not in place when they were in 2nd grade. So this may be new to them as well. So that's there. Jolene, if you want to pop back to the other one. The other one is the good old DNA extraction lab for strawberries. And the reason I put this one on there is because it's relatively inexpensive and easy to do, and it's exciting. With this, we have our learning target, and learning target is broken up into the 3 dimensions. So the Today I Will is a skill. So that's one of your science and engineering practices. So I Can is a content standard. And then I'll know I have it when, or the success criteria is how kiddos are going to know they're being successful. We use recurring themes and concepts there to ensure our lessons are meeting the 3 dimensions of science instruction. It's got those standards in there. It's got some teacher background information. That teacher background information is because many of our 5th grade teachers are not well versed in self-study or DNA. And so this is just a little background information to help them understand what they're working on with students and what they're looking for. It is not meant to be read to students or taught to students. That's just for them. And if you continue down, it reads more like a story in the actual lesson components is written also in the 5e. If you keep scrolling, it should keep going, keep going. There you go. There's your materials. Now, wait, I know it looks like a lot of materials, but most of these you already have in your science classroom. You probably have some dish soap if you've done density columns, salt if you've done experiments with solution mixtures and solutions, cups, coffee filters, those kinds of things I assume may be readily available to science teachers either on your campus somewhere or in a science lab. Things that you might need to purchase. Uh-oh, where did we go? Things that we might need to purchase are a strawberry, one per group, and some rubbing alcohol. But you need such a small amount of it that one bottle would work for several classes. You just need a little bit of that. And you need some pipettes, some hand lenses. Popsicle sticks work great to stir with and to pull out the DNA. But this one's quite fun. I would work in pairs. So one strawberry per pair of students, possibly 3, but pairs works really great for this one. There's some guiding questions, lab setup, vocabulary, keep going. Keep going. There are no slides that go with this. This is very student directed with teachers guiding these steps. This is one of those labs that would need to guide step by step, but it reads kind of like a story. It's a DNA detective. We're going to look at strawberry DNA. And really, it starts with kids put the strawberry in a plastic bag. They smash it up. The more liquid they can bring out of that strawberry, the better their DNA will be. Then they'll strain the liquid from the solid. There's some questions to ask at that time. If you keep going, then they will mix in with the strawberry these ingredients for this solution, but the solution needs to be exact. And then they will add that cold alcohol. So you will need some place to chill it in a freezer. Is great right before you use it for maybe like 30-ish minutes. Once you pour in that alcohol, you'll see the DNA start to clump together, which is really exciting. And then students can take a popsicle stick or a shish kebab stick or something, or even a coffee stirrer is pretty sturdy enough, and dip it in, and they can pull out, and it kind of looks slimy-ish a little bit. It's white, but you'll be able to see it really easy. It starts floating at the top. They can lift it up. And then we have, after they get to examine it and observe it, then we have students' notebook, or there's a reading piece available. I'm sorry, I apologize. There's a reading piece there that is linked for you, and the reading about a little bit more information, and then having students write a claim evidence reasoning, CER, in their journal to recap what they have learned. In that CER, I would highly encourage students to write those with their partners. If you have not set up the practice where students have been writing CERs independently throughout the year, if you need a good is relative. If you need a decent slide deck that walks students through writing a CER, I can link that here, or you can drop in the chat and I can send it to you. But I do have a decent CER slide deck that will walk you through writing a CER if that's something new for you or your kiddos. So this is a 1-day project, or 2-day if you want to do the experiment 1, writing on the 2nd. This one doesn't last quite as long as the Alexander Graham Bell. All right, that's what I got.
I'm going to let you share the slide deck from here on. And I think, I'm not sure who's next.
I got this.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Rocco, you ready?
Yeah, you don't have to click anything. I'm just going to talk through this.
Great.
So seeing as we have our new assessed curriculum document, which we know does not drive our instruction whatsoever, but if I had to guess, I would guess that a whole bunch of 5th graders within this week all the way till the end of the year are going to get a heavy dose of 5.11a, 5.12c, all those great conservation, effects on ecosystems type teaks that just didn't happen to make it on the assessed curriculum document. We just got to cover those, right? So whatever adopted resource you have has some type of lesson. So what I just wanted to share was just some options of things that you could use to enhance those lessons, like for the end of the year, because if you still have those teaks you got to cover, how can we kind of make them a little bit more engaging? So I kind of focused on 5.12c, looking at healthy ecosystems and human activities and how they can be both beneficial and harmful. So just kind of looking at both sides of that coin. So these are two things that I put in my curriculum in Fort Worth. I will say they're a little bit North Texas specific, but so I don't know how many people here are from the DFW area, specifically the Fort Worth side of things. But both I think could be used just kind of wherever. So the first one is a video. We're not going to have to play it. It's like a 2-minute video, but it's from CBS News up here in DFW. And it's just a really interesting story. So in Fort Worth has a nature center and refuge that actually has like all kinds of wildlife. They have buffaloes that roam freely. And they used to have prairie dogs, but the prairie dog family was, they were eliminated by disease. They all died out, which is really sad. But then this article goes to show, this was like last year too, so it was relatively recent. There was a family of black-tailed prairie dogs, which is the same species that used to be here, in West Texas that was about to get, their home was about to be demolished because they were putting up like a new subdivision. So home builders were coming through and about to like kind of take over this habitat. And so our friends at the Fort Worth Nature Center said, hey, we'll rehome them. And so the video just kind of, it's a news report and it talks about how they prepped them. And then actually you can see, just from that thumbnail picture, you can see they actually like pre-dug tunnels just to give them a bit of a head start so they'd have some protection. And then they put those cages around to protect them from like coyotes and hawks and things like that. And they figured they would just give the prairie dogs a couple of days to like complete the tunnels and like so they could actually be protected and hopefully the population will grow. So it's just a kind of an interesting, like we said, talking about both sides of those coins where we have human interaction, like we're injecting ourselves to be a solution. Of course, we're kind of the problem because we are the ones taking these prairie dogs' homes, but we're also part of the solution by, collecting them and giving them a safe habitat, and just kind of, so they do also feed the prairie dogs too, just to kind of, they're just trying to give that population a bit of a boost. So just kind of an interesting way. So like I said, as a phenomena, I think, whatever resource you have, if you're just looking for a phenomena that's maybe a little bit more local, if you're up this way, or if you're not in West Texas or in Fort Worth area, it's still relatively interesting. And it does a good job of showing both, like we said, the good, the harmful and the benefit interactions between humans and ecosystems. So that's just like an idea for a phenomena. And then the second thing, once again, it's a little bit Fort Worth leaning, but if you're in the Fort Worth area, I would highly recommend looking into this. I'm waiting for confirmation on if it's just available to North Texas, Tarrant County, but so the TR Trinity Regional Water District. So it's the water district that basically manages all of the Trinity River going through Fort Worth and all the surrounding area. They have an educational program called Conservation Captains. We've been doing this in our district for a couple of years, but like now we're officially doing it district wide. But it's so TRWD is a nonprofit. They keep keeping the waterways clean. They do a lot of educational outreach as well. And the Conservation Captains is actually a full like week of lessons. And they have slides that go with it. And it's a really great opportunity for teachers to teach their kids kind of in the same vein about like what is a healthy ecosystem, but focusing not like on air and pollution, but just mostly on water. And it really teaches the kids about like where we get our water from and why it's like how much energy it takes to get it to your house and why it's important to conserve and all that good stuff. So the lessons, so there's really 4 full lessons with like slide decks and but they do have their own like system. You can register for free. So when you register, you'll put in like how many kids you need materials for, and they will ship it all to you. And they have English and Spanish. So if you need Spanish as well, they send you that. And not only that, they actually send a kit of materials for every student. It's like a box, like bigger than a shoebox that has like a bucket for like a rain gauge to collect water. They have one of the conservation things is to use a scraper instead. So like when you're cleaning your plates at home, like don't run the water to clean your plates and dishes. Just use a dry scraper. There's a thing that actually there's a timer that is waterproof. You can put in the shower, so you can actually time how long you take a shower for, because that's something we can use to like just be cognizant of how long showers are. So it's like a whole kit that every student gets. So every student gets a workbook that's like a consumable workbook, and you can say English or Spanish, and they also get a bin of materials. And then there's like challenges that you can actually do as well. And for the teachers, it's a good opportunity. They actually do offer mini grants, so you can actually earn up to $300 if like your students like complete a project and you submit it, like it's like make a poster about water conservation or something. But there's like little things you can do, little checkpoints, and if you like upload that you've done these lessons, they will actually mail you, I think they're Visa gift cards. So you can get up to, like, if you do all of the things, you can get up to $300 as like a mini grant. So it's a really great opportunity. It's free. Like I said, very, like if you're in the Tarrant, Fort Worth-ish area, Dallas probably could do it as well. Because it's focused on the Tarrant Regional Water District. But yeah, it's just a really great opportunity. And like I said, they will send you your kits, they will send you all your books. And I talked to the director yesterday, and she said, as long as they sign up by Friday. So I know today's Tuesday, but if you are interested, just sign up by Friday. They said if you sign up by Friday, you'll get your materials by Tuesday. And I think that's the last shipment they're going to send out for the year. So if you're interested, not a little bit of a deadline, but like I said, it's all free. So even if you just want to sign up and just do it with like one group of kids or one class set, it's just just maybe check it out this year, and then you can do it next year, like knowing it earlier. So those are the two things I wanted to share today.
Awesome. That's great information. And who doesn't love a grant and free stuff?
Yeah.
Hadn't met anyone
Absolutely.
yet.
Yeah. And they're very
Okay.
eager to give it away because they're grant funded. So like the only way they keep going is if teachers sign up, and they get like the only way they get more money is if more money's going out. So like they are very eager to like get as many teachers to sign up. They want to give away as much as they can because that proves that it's working, and then they can go and get more grant funding. So they're just eager for people to sign up and use it. So sign up and use it.
Yes, I'm already thinking like in my mentally, I'm making a list of which teachers I need to send this to. Like copy a link, send to teacher, they will do it by Friday. Yes.
For sure.
Love it. Thanks, Rocco. All right.
All right, so this is me. So first of all, thank you all so much for being here. We appreciate it tremendously. I'm going to take a little time to talk to you about making a miniature aquifer necklace. And so I have to tell you, I got this idea after attending a conference in New Mexico a few years ago. And this is a take on aquifer in a cup that their water authority was doing down there in New Mexico. They actually were doing these mini aquifer necklaces, and I just swore that it was written up somewhere and there was a formal website. But apparently they altered the aquifer in a cup idea. And so what you see here is a write-up of their idea, which is the mini aquifer necklace. And I went ahead and linked, as you can see there on the slide, an Amazon, and I have to make sure I say this out loud. It's a non-affiliate shopping link. So if you go ahead and click on that link really quickly, I think it may list all of the supplies. Click on, so where it says show unpurchased, and I'm glad we're doing this together. If you can, does it go down? Does it allow you to Okay,
No,
darn.
it just lets me show unpurchased.
Okay. All right. I was hoping that it would not do that. Was hoping that you could actually see it. So what I will do is go in, and if you can go back to the slide, I will go back to that Amazon link and put everything back in the cart. All you're doing when you go to this Amazon list is it just gives you a list of what you would want to purchase. So you would want to, of course, copy everything over to your own cart. So if you can click back on our slideshow. There we go. Right. So what you'd be purchasing for your kiddos, those little tiny glass bottles that you see there, you get about 100 of them in a small pallet or box. and that's about $18.99. And then from there, the clay, the sand that you would want to purchase, along with pea-sized pebbles, are something else that you would want to purchase for this particular activity. As you can see from the photo, the larger photo that I have there, thank you, Kelly. It's just a layer of clay, sand, and finally rocks that are on top of that. And of course, you're going to add your water. You can add colored water for effect. I happen to have mine hanging from my rear view mirror because I actually completed this activity with about 200 people at the Space Center of Houston this past weekend to celebrate Earth Day here in Houston. It went very, very well. I can tell you it's very well tested. Everything from the string down to those miniature corked bottles will be on that list for you as soon as I can just get it repopulated for you. The slide there indicates some background knowledge about what an aquifer is and how it's essentially a natural cleaning or a natural filtration system for groundwater, and that we need to be super careful about what we put either on our streets or down street drains and whatnot, because we don't want to contaminate our groundwater. This activity was also inspired. If you can go to the next slide, please. Thank you. So the steps for putting together the miniature aquifer necklace is listed there. And at the very, very bottom, I went ahead and added, I would say, some clearly aligned teaks and some loosely aligned teaks. What's really interesting about this activity is that this is very well aligned with grades 1, and then there's this huge gap that jumps all the way up to grade 7. And so grade 1 kiddos are looking at everything from sand, clay, as well as soil types, as well as how water how water actually moves those different particles. And then when you actually look at the 7th grade teak, that's where the words groundwater are specifically mentioned, and human effects and impacts on groundwater. Everything in the middle, I'm basically stating it's loose alignment. So you just want to be aware as far as your alignment is concerned with respect to the teaks. The very last step on that slide is what I feel is the best part of the assignment is because it actually is a site that is a .gov site. If you can go to the next slide, please. And that is a clickable link. You are able to actually click on that link and put in your zip code, and it's specific to the state of Texas. So what I love about this particular site is you can find out if there are any aquifers in your area. Once you locate an aquifer in the area, it's typically delineated by or identified by an orange dot. You would click on that dot, and information about that aquifer actually appears. And I should use the word wells and aquifers are actually monitored by this particular site. So it's great if you want to assist your kids with looking at data that's publicly accessible. One of the most interesting conversations I say that I had with folks that I interacted with this past weekend is the conversation about sinkholes and what happens when you take all of the water out of an aquifer, what is left. So what are the impacts when we either are taking things out of aquifers or contaminating the aquifer by pouring things on the ground or using large amounts of fertilizer and whatnot. And so very interesting conversations. Most folks did not know while I was at Space Center Houston that we had an aquifer or several aquifers nearby. So what you see there on the screen, I'm going to say in the sort of, if you take a look at the box that's in the middle of the screen, thank you, there's a little circle. If you bring your mouse down just a little bit and then go over to your left, right there, that's actually where Space Center Houston is. And so what's really interesting is all of those little orange dots around, or rather on the map, are wells and aquifers that are in the area. So people were very surprised about how near aquifers are to our very urban area. And if you know anything about Space Center Houston, it is really close to Kemah, which is a large waterway. And so there's conversations about how long does it take for aquifers to fill up and stay filled? Is it okay to use them? And how our aquifers here in the Houston area are actually very unique because we have lots of clay. So in many instances, our aquifers are not as drinkable as, say, other aquifers, like in the Austin area, for instance, where they have lots of limestone and there's opportunity for more filtration. So in a nutshell, this particular set of activities will allow you to build. I think it has quite a few components that you can use to build out a fuller lesson that will help you or help students learn more about sedimentary rock, natural systems, filtration, and so forth. So I encourage you all to take a look at that link that you see there on the site. If you want to click on the link, that one actually works expectedly. Right. And so you can either pinch in depending on if you have personal devices or if your students have personal devices, or you can put in an address or even a zip code in the upper left-hand corner where it says Water Data Interactive. And so this would be applicable to everybody here on the call. Kids can get a fairly good viewpoint of what's going on in their city or in their nearby area. And so from there, that concludes my portion of today's talk. Thank you.
Thank you, Oma. I am fascinated. I know I'm going to spend some time researching some aquifers around my area. I'm excited. And thank you for putting together and thinking about putting together the Amazon cart. That's super helpful. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. I'm going to get on trying to populate that in a moment.
Awesome. Thank you, ma'am. All right, let's see who is next. Oh, this is Melissa's, I believe, right? Yes. Okay. And Melissa couldn't join us, but she wanted to make sure the balloon rocket races, these are super exciting in the classroom. All the information you need for balloon rocket races is here. This could definitely take 1, maybe 2 days. I get excited about students designing and developing a balloon racer, a balloon race rocket, and then after testing, then going back to modify in completing their engineering design process. Like, what were things that they're going to change? How are they going to make it faster, longer, whatever your race parameters contain. So all the information for balloon rocket racers is here. So I want to open it up. I will stop sharing, but I want to open up the floor. If there is anybody else that's on here that would like to share an idea of how you keep your students engaged in the fun month of May. If there's anything that you would like to share with us, we could add to this. If you drop a link in the chat, or if you just want to explain it, I know there's several of us that will feverishly take notes to make sure we capture all of these great ideas. Kind of wish I had Jeopardy music. So think that in your head. You're hearing Jeopardy music in your head. Think it in your head. Well, if you do think of something or would like to share a link, please do not hesitate to send us a quick little email, and we would be happy to add that to the Canva slide deck there to share with those who are just joining us, or those who were joining us from the beginning. Reflections or takeaways. Is there anything that you would like to share, a reflection that you have, something that you think you might try? Drop that in the chat if you feel comfortable doing that, something that you might want to try, or a question that you have. or you are welcome to unmute. We're a tight little group here. We can unmute and share if there's anything else that you would like to contribute.
So I'm just going to say really quickly that I think all those items are now visible at that Amazon link. And so I want to make sure I reiterate, when you click on the link, I'm not getting any money. So just transfer everything over to your own carts, and then that way you can purchase, because that's a whole thing that people do now. So thank you.
Yes, thank you for that, Oma. I appreciate the PSA on that one too. I do. I love Rachel. I love your coffee can organism project, that you're going to be able to share that learning and that knowledge with the entire campus and campus visitors by displaying that in the library. I know some of my campuses are working on science fair projects. They may not have had time during the year to work on those, so they are having students come up with a research-based question and working in groups to create, or I'm sorry, not to create, but to develop and work through science fair experiments and doing this in the classrooms. I know that's going on as well. Rocco, would you drop the link in there one more time if you get a chance? Just to make sure everybody has the Canva link and can access it. I want to make sure you can get in. You know, sometimes we forget to share things to where everyone can see them. Make sure you can click those links. Thank you, sir. If there's anyone else that has anything they want to share, or a final thought or reflection.
Yeah, sorry, I'm driving. But I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for compiling all the different projects and ideas. I'm currently serving as a STEM coordinator for pre-K through fifth grade campus in Grand Prairie. And so a lot of the teachers have been reaching out to me. They've been sending me some STEM project ideas, but there have been also some grade levels that have been kind of lost. And so I've been kind of racking my brain and trying to get all my creative juices out, squeeze the last bits that I have left. And so this is going to be really helpful that I can, you know, share these ideas with the different teams on my campus. And also, I love that all of the project ideas can be easily differentiated for the different age groups. So I appreciate you all for sharing this. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Jillian, it was a pleasure having you. I love what you're doing with the STEM coordinating on your campus. That's really exciting. It's kind of like a dream job there, girl. So I appreciate you working with all of those grade levels. If there's anything that we can do as you get in, you want someone to bounce an idea off of or collaborate with, please reach out to TCES. We've got several people here that would love to collaborate with you or be a thinking partner, especially as you differentiate between those grade levels. Absolutely. Jamie, I love that you're going to share with your teachers. Yes, we love sharing. That's what we're all about. We're about connecting, collaborating, and then sharing everything across the state. That is our mission. Well, team, it has been a fantastic. I'm going to sign us off. I'm under a tornado warning, and my boss just said I should go home. So I'm going to sign us off. But we look forward to seeing you again. Look for a flyer coming out. We got some fantastic sessions, some more virtual collaborations coming up with some. If you valued this, we've got lots more where this came from. And we're looking at maybe doing some sessions this summer, and then definitely some this fall. We try to meet every month. Yes, sir. You're raising your hand. I would love to listen to hear.
Yes,
thanks
so much. Thanks so much for resources. I'm very appreciated. And you know, the new curriculum open site is released. Are there any work for any study about the TICS alignment or something like that? Any collaboration group? Did you hear about it? Anything?
So like looking at the TEKS vertically alignment, or are you thinking horizontally, like same grade level, but math, science,
horizontally? No.
Horizontally.
No. K, for example, how the open site is matched the TICS K.
Oh, okay. The open SIAD matching the TEKS. Well, I have not done a whole lot of research into the Open Syed as far as how that looks with the TEKS just yet, but I know some others maybe in this group that potentially have, but I know we're going to look at vertical alignment of standards and deep dive into standards. We would definitely love to do that. I don't know with the Open Syed piece just yet.
Okay. Thank you so much. If there's any group, I'm happy to attend to this kind of groups.
Yeah, absolutely. We will, and definitely, if we hear of those groups, we will continue to add that information on our website or on our mailers. If you can follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook. That's where we send out all that information. And as we find things, that's where we house those to share that information with you, or on our website as well. So everyone that may be in this path of this fun storm that's heading this way, y'all stay safe. I'm going to hopefully drive home before it starts raining. But please make sure you are looking out for all of TCS's communication for our reigniting the excitement in the fall for our virtual collabs. What you got, Rocco?
Check the radar. Yeah, get home. Get in your car right now. Bye-bye.
Bye.